Apparently, there's a new phone call with Christopher Proudfoot, and let's see. Oh, October 13th?
Hi, guys. Hope you're having a great morning. It's Fred and Sheila with Hatfield McCoy Museum.
Okay, great. I want to get the phone call
When
going.
it rang, we don't answer. I always let it go to voicemail. And I seen Nashville, and I told Sheila, I said, Fred,
Yep.
what about that?
He just told me
Thanks
that.
for calling us, pal.
You're welcome, sir.
Thanks for calling us. I hope we're right, but we think you and Katie's been treated wrongly. We just,
Oh my God.
we've been watching some of these videos and some of these people that's doing these shows, and until people's proven to have done something or something like that, there's so many rumors out there. And how do you defend against it? And we wanted to be able to maybe sit down and talk to you all one day.
Yeah, they look very smart.
Hey, I'm a 40-year retired police officer.
Jesus Christ, and you fall for this. That's why I always say, when somebody tells me, well, okay, you're doing great, but let the police handle it. The police can't. In so many instances, the police, these are the types of people that get hired. They don't have the right training, they don't have the right qualifications, and dare I say, many of them are just not smart enough to get it, you know. So it doesn't matter if we're talking about sheriffs in Tennessee, or if we're talking about RCMP officers, or who don't who allowed Daniel, who let him slip through, get back to the pipeline and remove allegedly a bunch of evidence. I hate to burst these bubbles, because there are still people who hold on to what they were taught when they were children, right? I mean, I've seen too much incompetence and I heard too many lies to, ever go down that road again. Even though I was told as a kid, you know what, the police, they're your friend and helper, and they're your public servants, and they are so smart and they know so much, and just don't even. I mean, I will do this as long as I can handle it. Oh, what am I into here? In for?
And I've solved a few cases in my day, but Sheila and I
Solved a few. Let me guess, very few. Or you were a part of a team where somebody told you what to do and you just executed the orders.
we
Or I guess it's some very obvious case. You walk into a house, there's a dead lady on the floor, and the guy is still holding the knife. Oh, I solved it, dude.
found this body a while back. We're both retired, and we found this shooter on I-75 that had shot those 5 people. And it took us 6 days, and I just had a total change in my Christian life. And when I started on this Sebastian, people started texting us and say, check on.
And you know what? The Bible says don't judge. But the Bible doesn't say shut your brain off either.
Sebastian, we wasn't familiar with it. And then the more we start checking, the more I see that I used to use the F-bomb myself. I used to use some language, and I used to be real outspoken.
And you know what? Let me say it like this. Whether you use certain language or not, it's not a level, it's not a... How do I say this? Just because somebody uses it doesn't make them less intelligent. I know plenty of bright people who F-bomb all the time. And I know a lot of dumb people who know how to present themselves in a certain way that they appear more sophisticated. That doesn't mean they have more to say. And that's judging, when you judge people by the language that they use, right? I mean, here's the thing. Why do cops curse so much? Because they see so much shit on an every freaking day basis. And expecting them not to have emotional outbursts here and there or express their emotions in a way that may not sound, um, you know, nice to the average person or the average middle class lady trying to raise her kids without bad language. I'm sorry, but these guys are in the trenches, right? And while I'm saying I don't put too much weight in what police officers in general conclude, and a good example is that guy from the interview room, right? You are good at what you're good at, and the rest, let me handle that when it comes to the statements. Let me lead you in the right direction, right? If something is not your strong suit, then avoid it. That's how I live my life. I don't have to be good at everything. I just have to be as good as I can be at whatever it is I'm drawn to do.
Welcome and tell people you remind me of myself.
So this guy is a talker. And Chris likes that. You know what I mean? I bet you they had a really long interview, a pre-interview. Oh my God. And he said, well, this guy sounds like a real farmer. And he sounds like a real dumbass who, there's nothing wrong with being a farmer, by the way. I mean, he sounds like well, whatever.
And unless people's been accused of something, or how would they react? So anyway, our thing is
See, he's trying to make excuses already. He's telling us Chris doesn't act right. That's the funny thing. You see, even people, when they're dumbasses, there's still that little light flickering in the back of their mind saying, red light, red flag, red flag, red flag. But they learn to ignore it. Okay? And I say about you what I want to say because you're inserting yourself into a case that is ongoing and that should be solved. But let's see.
We're just, me and Sheila just want
All about him and Sheila.
to see if someday we could chat with you and Katie, and we don't have to have no cameras or nothing else. We just want to be able to sit down and see if we can help some way, at least to clear up some of the misconceptions that people has.
I don't have any misconceptions about the case. I did in the beginning because I didn't really pay attention to it. And I gotten information from people who were less than credible. I didn't actively look for information, but my mistake was to spend a lot of time on Twitter, and there I was sort of thrown into this world that's really not my own. It's really not the type of not the types of people that I would communicate with or want to learn anything from. But I still read things until things really gotten my attention with Sebastian a few days in. I read about, I was basically introduced in a wrong manner. Let's say it like this. Meaning, oh, I'm getting a lot of messages here. Wait, guys. Anyways, so I was introduced to this case. My first impressions were wrong ones, which is a damn shame, people. But I snapped out of this really, really quickly. And now, let's see what Chris Proudfoot is going to tell us this time.
It's, it's honestly, it just gets to the point where everybody gets.
See, he's flabbergasted already because this guy, I think he's trying not to laugh. Because he's like, oh my God, this guy really, how do I not mess this up? Wow, wowee, like Borat would say, wowee.
Said so much.
Mm-hmm.
We just, that's why we kind of pushed away from the public eye and talking and getting out there. It's just.
I mean, there's.
There's. I'll give you what I can. There's some things I can't give you.
We know that because it's an ongoing investigation, just like with Jack and Lily. And police, well, but maybe in your case, you have friends in the police force who give you more information than they should. Maybe you really are more on the inside than most of us are aware of, right? But the disclaimer has to be noted immediately. I will tell you what I want to tell you. That's very preemptive of him. He's a go-getter. He's a very preemptive kind of dude. So he doesn't wait for things to really hit the fan. He tells you straight up ahead of time, man. If you don't ask me the right questions, if you ask me the wrong questions, and you keep at it and press me in any type of way, I now have an excuse already to say I'm done with this, right? So it doesn't look like I'm avoiding, because avoidance, it's all about avoidance with Chris Proudfoot. If you have used the PLED system, it is all about avoidance for him. And he's a blatant avoider. He will tell you, I'm not allowed to say that. Didn't happen. But he's very, selective. He knows he's not the great liar. He knows he's not bright. He knows his limits. And that's the problem with Daniel. When Daniel exercises his hobby, I think he's becoming overconfident. And he gave far too much away. Chris is the opposite. He will just shut down very quickly.
That's law enforcement has to not just.
Sure. You see, when I say sure, I guess I hate sarcasm, by the way, but a lot of you guys call me sarcastic. So no, it's not. I don't know how else to react to this, but saying yeah, sure, because I'm not there with him. I cannot say you dipshit. They didn't tell you that. Why are you avoiding that? Or I wouldn't say that, but I would ask a significant follow-up question. I would ask one that is leading there that he can answer, to show me more, deeper avoidance, to expose him, how sensitive an area actually is for him. Oh my goodness, dude.
That's understandable.
Sure.
Yes, you would be correct as far as us physically.
This is a fanboy and a fangirl, and Chris knows it. So he's like, yeah, I talk to you guys. That's cool, man. Anything out there that makes me look positive.
Being out in the woods with everybody in the initial days and all this about searching.
Out in the woods? You were out in the woods? What's your name? Daniel Martel?
Law enforcement said, we do not want you out. We do not want you getting in the middle of it because of.
Oh, well, maybe. Initially, they said hang tight. Right?
Something comes about and we need to talk to you or get a hold of you.
Okay.
We know where to find you. Now,
Makes sense.
that was said to all three parents, Seth, Katie, and myself.
All three parents. He always does that. All three parents. He likes to associate himself with the one innocent parent who is Seth. He has a harder time talking about himself or himself and Katie than he has when he includes Seth and makes it sound like they're on the same team.
And we did exactly what they asked.
Sure.
Yep, you go along exactly. I'm a good boy. There's nothing you can hold against me. Gotcha.
Seth is.
But what I was going to say is about that guy when he says sure, he actually believes it. That's the difference between my sure and his sure.
He's a grieving father. He's upset.
He's grieving because you know his son is no longer alive. Not a searching father, not a desperate father, because from your perspective, he has reason to grieve.
He's missing his son. You know, I'm not going to speak for how he feels. I'm not going to.
Seth didn't say he's grieving. he didn't talk about sorrow. He actually said, if you have my son, give him back.
Sure.
Try to explain why or what he is doing, why he's doing what he's doing. I don't know.
Because some of what he is doing is accusing you and Katie. I don't know what he's doing. Well, okay, that's where you remove the association with Seth. You make yourself close to Seth. You are on the same team, except there may be some things he's saying that you don't want people to hear.
When it comes to Katie and myself, we've literally listened to everything that law enforcement says as.
And Seth is going against law enforcement, of course, because he realizes now, finally, that they are digging him around, which you enjoy because you said they have done an excellent job, right? That's not the exact wording, but something like that. Remember, it was in my equally dissolved video. Yes, I'm circling your face because the duping delight. Look how proud he is in this picture. And this is very similar to when Daniel Martel gave his interview to Kayla, because he was on a high. I think he was able to remove crucial evidence ahead of the drones and the helicopters. And he thought he beat the lie detector. That was an accomplishment to him. That was a big challenge. A lie detector, a polygraph test isn't a challenge. It's not supposed to be a challenge that you can overcome. It's supposed to be a very simple procedure that helps law enforcement, because they don't always have the right statement analyst or linguistic examiner handy. So that is like a standard thing for them. Or we can do that. And they don't always have good polygraphers either, but they're sort of like going through the procedure. They are not always that emotionally involved, and they just want to do their job. And okay, what we do next? Let's look at the list. Okay, polygraph. Okay, done. So I have no doubt that he was able to tweak the question in his advantage. He even told us that in his statement, remember? So we're the good guys who listen to everything, but Seth doesn't. Just in case, you hear something from Seth that is negative towards me and Katie, or expresses the suspicions he may have, just make sure you understand Seth isn't obeying the orders from law enforcement. We are the good ones, and he is the bad one.
And it doesn't matter what it is. Like if they want something, they send me a message, send Katie a message, and they get it.
Sure.
I mean, it's not even a question.
Because you're not emotionally involved like Seth is. Seth is emotional because his son, he doesn't want to believe his son is dead. He only knows the case has been mishandled. So Seth may not be as friendly to the law enforcement officers, and he may question if they're even on his side, if they're not on Chris Proudfoot's side and Katie's side, right? For you, it's easy to be emotionally disconnected and say, yeah, sure, I give you whatever. Sure, man, we comply. And, be chitty chatty with them maybe and very positive, because you don't have that emotional pain holding you back, putting you on edge that Seth is experiencing right now.
If you want something, what do you want? Come get it.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll bring it to you. Whatever it is, I don't care.
Yep.
Um,
How about they haven't done their job, dude? And you jump for them because, in your opinion, they have done their job as well as they could have on your behalf, in your favor. The one thing that Seth doesn't like about law enforcement is the one thing that you love about them. So, of course, you have now a different way to look at them than Seth does.
We've been like that since day one.
No, you haven't.
And
No, you haven't. And the reason you feel the need to say that is because in the very beginning you were lying your ass off. You're still doing it. You were giving them whatever, um, you know, anything other than the truth.
it just, it's a constant battle with people.
It just, exactly, the people, right? Law enforcement gave up, but the people, they still look at you like a guilty person.
Yeah.
We understand. Actually, we had a lady call the other night, text Sheila from West Virginia, and said she's got some information. Said y'all need to contact me. And I told Sheila, I said, ask her what part. Her phone showed up West Virginia, and I said, ask her what part of Hendersonville she's from, and where she has searched at down there. And she wrote back and said, no, I'm not from down that area. I haven't been down there.
Isn't Jada in West Virginia? Maybe I got this wrong. Let me know.
And then Sheila told her, said, we're sorry, dear. There's so many rumors out there. We don't need more rumors. You know, we're talking to people that know something about it, you know, because all she's going to do is tell us what she has watched on a video or read in the paper. And that's not how you solve cases or work cases, or it's just not. But
Well, everybody's upset. Like, I mean, so when you said me at work and all this, okay, well, I'm working in Memphis. I'm sitting in a tower crane as we speak right now.
sure.
In Memphis out in the St. Jude Project.
There?
You know, I just left my house last night actually from Hendersonville. I had to come back to work.
Sure.
But
So I don't know when the call was made, and I think it was end of last year, and they haven't. I guess they have. They are now publishing it. I don't know. It doesn't. I figure it out. But okay. So he's sitting up in the crane talking to them. Gotcha.
you know, when all this initially went down, you know, we called law enforcement. You know, people have a hard time understanding, well, why you call 911? Because I don't need 911 when I know that I can call directly to the dispatch desk and get a dispatcher.
Yeah.
Really? How do you know that? Wasn't there a claim that Melissa Proudfoot worked for a dispatcher? I mean, if you guys know for a fact, let me know, because again, I am distancing myself from Twitter for the most part because there's so much misinformation and disinformation too. Meaning people that are confused, they share disinformation. And how did you know that? And how are you so detailed about the dispatcher and the dispatcher desk? This actually leads me to believe somebody he knows may be working there. Why would you call 911? Well, if you really believed your son, who has autism, may be disoriented, in danger, of course you will call 911 because it's an emergency. That's what 911 is for.
You're out in the county. We understand it. You're out in the sheriff's department boundary. You won't be in the. Yeah, I heard that, but Sheila and I talked about that. Why would you have to call if you know the number directly? Call the sheriff's office.
Which number did you call? Which exact number did you call? Did you call somebody who worked there on a private phone, or what did we still don't know? The fact that we still don't know bothers me. And the fact that he brings it up right now lets me know that he knows that this is just one of many things that do not add up. And of course, he believes that he's capable of convincing people otherwise. And every opportunity that he gets to do that, he finds a couple of dipshits, or he finds some people who will, eat out of his hand just because they know they get more viewers on YouTube, and they agree with, whatever. And it's same with Daniel. And you know I mean, people pretend to agree to get these people on, especially in a case like Chris Proudfoot or a guy like Daniel, who's a hit and run kind of guy. They know these people will bounce immediately if they don't at least feel like you're on their side. Why? Daniel himself said, I'm not trying to do damage control. Why? Because I told him in chat that he's doing damage control. A lot of the things in his long writings are in direct reply to me. Dare I say, I think actually the main motivator was because I put him on the spot, because he was there and he was getting involved. And it became more and more obvious that he was there. So I knew he was less likely to avoid my questions.
Yeah, that's the stuff that everybody doesn't. I'm sorry. I know where I live.
Everybody does what? Everybody does that? Nobody calls 911 where you live? Get out of here, man. You're trying to tell me if your neighbor's kids are missing, they're not going to call 911? You know what? They wouldn't have time to think about the number or look up that number. And if they know the number, no, they're still going to call 911. They're going to say, my kid is missing. The whole world, I don't give a crap right now what the whole world does or what anybody thinks I should do. I'm calling 911. That's my right. I'm paying taxes. This is a priority. This is my priority, my only priority. It's not even a matter of priority. The whole world disappears in front of my eyes because the only thing I can think of right now is my child. And I want the world to stop doing what they're doing. I'm selfish now. You have a right to be selfish in these moments.
I know the number.
And even if they're busy police and there's a robbery in progress, you still say, this is my child missing. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, for God's sake, every parent should know your area. You should know your fire department. You should be my fire department.
No, if it's an emergency, you call 911 and that's it.
It's a volunteer, but
Because any second counts. Of course, you knew what happened to Sebastian, and you knew he's no longer with us, in my opinion. So for you, that was not considered an emergency.
it's less than a quarter of a mile from my front door.
Sure.
That's my fire department. That's my EMS right there.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. We came down.
Yeah, what about the police? What about the investigators? Huh? What about them? Fire department? Nothing's burning. Imagine emergency medical service. What does that have to do with anything? We are talking about the cops have to get there right now before my son, who's disoriented, gets into trouble. Any second can count to bring him back safely.
Down a while back and just walked.
And this idiot goes along right with it.
Well, I don't know, Kristen. Well, like I said, my wife's been a Christian all of her life and all this.
I was about to say, man, when does he bring up being a Christian again, right? Using that as an excuse for his own stupidity. Thou shalt not judge. Or something like that. I agree, judging is not a good thing, but you cannot interpret it in a way that you ignore the obvious. Shut your mind off if you ever had one.
And I've really, this last thing
All about you, right? That's why you want Chris on there.
We worked. I've seen everything in the world in 40 years, but for some reason, it really affected me, and the good Lord's just blessed me. And again, you never know about things. If
Thou shalt not kill. This is not Jesus and the prostitute where he said, sin no more. This is a very, very important. Wow, man. I mean, I don't even know how to. Okay, but his intention, we are detecting an intention here, right? So maybe he thinks that doing this is a part of getting on God's good side, for the lack of a better terminology, right? There is a payoff, there is a motivation, there is an intention, right? So this person is revealing his intentions. It doesn't have to be the motive, the motivation, the motive or the motivation behind doing something doesn't require for us to be able to relate to it or to be able to understand it at all, right? It doesn't. It simply doesn't, people. But we have to accept it because linguistically he's taking us there, even though I can guarantee you there will be more language that actually expresses that in reality he has some doubts, at least some doubts. But he's fighting these doubts because he thinks that this makes him judgmental and you're not supposed to judge. Mind you, his interpretation of that. Okay, let's go, bros.
If you're innocent, can you imagine what an injustice?
If you are innocent, how about when you are innocent? How about saying, I think you are innocent?
That you've been done.
And this is why I avoid so many things, because I'm like a sponge. It doesn't matter if I'm actually listening in to listen to a person of interest, or if it's the interviewer giving me statements that show sensitivities, deception, intentions, avoidances, priorities, sensitivities especially, or leakage of what they really believe, I can't ignore it. I go straight to it. So if you guys send me like a 4-hour video of some channel where they just guess around, I mean, yeah, it's deception overload that I'm getting. But again, maybe after not having talked about Sebastian for so long, I can bring this case back to the attention of the public, or help doing that, so we don't forget. And even though police may be done with this case, I'm not.
During all, and that was our Sheila and my thing was, and again, I know you're
Sure.
busy. I know you work all the time. I know you.
Yeah, Google wrote shill, not Sheila. Shill. Don't be a shill. Don't be a shill for Chris Foot.
But I think that Sheila and I could, if you and Katie ever get a chance and get a couple hours where we could come down and visit with you. And if you can't, that's understandable. You've done more than I probably expected just calling us. But yeah. I think we could do.
Believe it or not, I mean, it would have. I mean, I am not attention away from the idea of sitting down and having a conversation with people. And I've told people in the beginning, I will have conversations with people.
He wants people to fight for him, and he thinks he's really good one-on-one. Of course, they're Christians, so they're not going to have any, Johnny Walker with you or whatever you prefer. So, not sure if you're going to like this conversation, Chris, but they like that when people are on their side. Oh my God, they bring you in, man.
And I just tell everybody, I'm Brad.
Anybody who go out there and say, hey, I met with these guys and they're very nice and this and that, leave them alone.
I'm direct, but I'm respectful.
That's Fred McCoy, buddy.
That's just the way I was raised.
Well, that military.
Well, yeah, I mean, We heard you, Nancy Grace. Yes, ma'am, ma'am, ma'am. But saying ma'am all the time, it doesn't make you a respectful person. Who are you inside, Chris? That's formalities. There's a difference between being formal and being real. And did you respect Sebastian's privacy? Did you respect him? You know what I mean? It's about how you treat the people that are weaker than you, that really, and you've been raised by whom? By Terry Bowersucks, who, you know, so you choose whom you're respectful towards. So respectful towards the people who can do something for you, or who may have who may be able to hurt you, right, or hurt your reputation. And so the fact that he always feels the need to say he's respectful, no, deep inside he's not at all. The way you talked about Sebastian defecating, and I mean, come on, dude.
I mean, that's the other part of it is
the other part or pact. What did he say here?
And I just tell everybody, I'm brash, I'm direct, but I'm respectful.
That's Fred McCoy,
That's
buddy.
Just the way,
Yeah, buddy.
That's just the way I was raised.
That's the way that my daddy raised me.
Well, that military.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other part of it is
Did he say pact? I mean, Google says part, but Google probably, sometimes Google doesn't pick things, doesn't write the things correctly, because Google figures we're going to write down what we think you were going to say based on the context. But I do believe the term pact just snuck in there, and I believe that's leakage also. That's part of the pact that he has with certain people, with certain so-called creators. You know, what can we talk about, what can't we talk about? And we stick to that. That's important to him.
I don't have time to sugarcoat people's cookies for me. That's not me.
I used to be like that. I'm trying to change. Sheila's, and the good Lord's changing me on that part, but I'm telling you, people used
to... He's like,
say one thing about Fred.
Oh, God. This is like, okay, this is... I should mark this video comic relief with Chris Proudfoot.
McCoy, you don't have to go to the country store to find out what he thinks about you. He'll tell you to your face. And that, see, I respect people like that. I just think that people need to see a different angle, a different from a police officer's perspective, from Sheila. Sheila's a retired school teacher and Sheila's dealt. We've got a nephew that's autistic, and she's dealt with schools and school system. Again, me and Sheila.
That doesn't necessarily say who you are as a person. We all know there are so many people in the professional field. Their heart is not in it, okay?
I just thought that you all had, and Katie, the both of you, at least a person, I'm not going to say we're on your side. We're not on nobody's side.
So you understand what it is like to be around a so-called difficult child, and that is why you're cutting him some slack. Gotcha.
But I guarantee you that your side would get to be heard. From what I understand, you was in the Navy.
Yes.
Haven't they heard?
16 years.
Yeah, 16 years. Well, haven't you never heard he does like a sailor? They used to tell me you curse like a sailor. But I was a Marine. But so you and Katie talk if you get a chance, and you all.
Yeah, he was a Marine, right? Okay, so there we got it. It's like okay. What was Chris? He was in the Navy or he was a Marine? God, it's been so long. But I remember when he talked to Canine Gator first, and like, we have family, like brother and sister because of the military. Yeah, there's that connection, man. But unfortunately, you can have as much of a connection with somebody you don't freaking know. Only thing you know is they were also in the military. Jeffrey Dahmer was in the military, for crying out loud. Are you going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt that's been in the military? I mean, sure, there is this. Come on, you're not in war. You're not in the trenches together where you say, I got your back, you got my back. So I don't care what type of person you are. You're my brother right now. Yeah, in those situations, understandable. But these people are overdoing it. I mean, oh my goodness, dude. You know, let me see, man.
Ever feel like it. Once you're accused, parents already know, Chris, that we're looked at. If something happens to our children today, they would be looking at me and Sheila. Mm-hmm. That's just the way we do in police work. And a lot of times that is the case, no doubt. We've got some good questions, and I think you and Katie could
really
put a lot of stuff to rest.
Well, I mean, me and Katie have both taken polygraph tests with law enforcement.
Okay.
And we both passed our polygraph test. Seth has, I don't know, I only from what I've been told, Seth took a polygraph test through Nancy Grace's TV show. Okay. I was advised by TBI not to do that. So that's part of the big thing is they're all.
Who exactly advised you? I want to know the name.
Upset because, I told Nancy Grace that I would do it, and then when I went talked to TBI, they said, no, don't recommend you do it. Okay, then that means I'm not doing it. Yeah. So I'll take it to TBI. So that's what they did.
And you did take one and passed it?
Oh, yes, sir.
See, that's what. Sure, see, that's things that people don't.
He's even laughing. I sure did. I learned something. I learned how to beat these things.
Yes, I heard that you offered, and that's why you've been an injustice, because that you offered on Nancy Grace. You had time and place, and then when they offered it, that you backed out on it, and you'd never taken one.
See, here's the other part that Nancy Grace has never said either. So her producer, Rachel, at the time, I was in contact with her.
Okay.
And told her, I said, look, TBI has advised me not to take y'all's right away.
Okay.
To take theirs first.
Okay.
And if everything is good, then I don't need to take one with y'all.
You know what? You're spending too much time on that. And we want some questions here. Stop being so preemptive. Why are you worried about questions, even from these people who are on your side already? So he wants to immediately establish that, he wants you to think I had nothing to do with it. So he is worried about what questions will come or how they get asked, or if there's anything that he will stumble over. Because maybe sometimes people who don't know what they're doing will do the right thing by accident and innocently ask you a question that really puts you on the spot. Not intending to interrogate you, but because they have absolutely no clue. So they may start theorizing about certain parts that they could even introduce something that happened that the public may not even know about, or most people don't know about. Let's hear it.
Also, let me deal with it first, because it is their investigation. And she was like, no, I completely understand.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had that conversation with her producer. No. And
I guess she's talking to her dog, because I hear the rattle of the leash.
Conversation. I'm gonna mess his name up. I don't know if it's Zappleton or something. She had another producer that she also uses, and I've had a conversation with him.
You see, that's why I have not listened to a lot of things with Chris Proudfoot's interviews, because the people who interview him tend to be completely worthless. Completely freaking worthless. So I believe in open-ended questions. You ask them, you get the answer, and they're usually perfect for analyzing. But then, if they rattle about unimportant things, you bring them back, and you bring in another question. Now, that is for investigative purposes, as well as, of course, keeping things halfway interesting. Right? And I mean, you treat people as you want to be treated. That means you treat your listeners the way you want to be treated as a listener. It means you do create something on YouTube that you yourself would enjoy listening to. That was my motivation when I found nothing good. I figured I have to do what they're not doing. And these people have no self-awareness. They let him rattle and rattle and rattle. Of course, it's interesting to hear how much time he wants to spend on certain areas. It's huge avoidance of the real areas. Because this is about Sebastian, a so-called missing teenager. And I say missing because there are different types of missing. Runaways, and they're missing because somebody disposed of them. Maybe I go forward a little bit.
But none of that has been divulged to the public.
You see, he knows a few so-called smart words, and he cannot wait to bring them in again and again and again. And I believe that's also Katie's script, because she's a lot more, lot better educated than him and a lot smarter than him. So there are probably a few terms that he had just learned where she told him, don't say I can't say, I can't say. Say I can't divulge. It sounds better. It makes you sound smarter, Chris. Oh, you need to sound smart now, man. Don't sound like some, doofus that you are.
Of course it would, but they're a TV show. They're there for ratings, they're for the money.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. What's important is the intention. If somebody, and by the way, I think very little about Nancy Grace. She got so many things wrong. She accused so many people falsely. So that was a crappy interview as well, right? But you went on it.
Anyway, I'm glad that you took it.
So I have your video. I seen the video where y'all drove down from Kentucky down 31.
And just to talk about that money part, the only problem I have is when money is the motivator for people with no skills and no effort and zero intention either way, no compass, no moral compass, flip-flopping like crazy, to just allow any kind of bullshit to sidetrack their viewers. That's when I realized that money is a motivator for them to mislead people or allow people to be misled via their channel. I pointed out all the time, unless I'm asked to please be kind, and then I hold it back a little bit, but that is something where intention detection is everything to me. Your intention, once we know your intention, everything falls into place very easily. And that's often overlooked in statement analysis. And I made it a huge part of pleds. Of course, the I is not being pronounced like I thought at one point. But it is only in the fourth spot. But the intention, to me, when I know what the intention is, that's when I dig really deep. That is the most important part, in my opinion, in statement analysis and in everything else. So if, I don't, Nancy's intention, but that has nothing to do with you, because you are avoiding to speak about yourself. When are the questions coming? It's been 46 minutes of me doing it, and I'm not sure how long I can do this, man. All right, bro.
He came down through Kentucky down 31. He turned down McNerney and he went down that way. He came to the back road. So I did watch your video, and I watched y'all go through the subdivision, through the cul-de-sac, and he started coming back down, and he told me, Sheila, you should over knock on that door.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
And actually, she could have. So the sign is posted, no trespassers. We were told by law enforcement to put that up.
Sure.
Because of certain individuals out there that...
Because you asked them, how can I keep these people out? And they told you, if you want to prosecute people, put a sign up to make it very clear, a sign that they cannot ignore, then you can get them. Some like that.
took it upon themselves to walk around our property, videotaping, taking photos, without permission. So we were advised by law enforcement, put that up, but we've had people come and knock on the door and ask questions and talk to us.
Wow.
As long as people are respectful, we don't. We're not.
Yeah.
We have nothing to hide.
Yeah.
There you
Nothing
go.
to shy away from.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now, and me and Katie are all on the same page with law enforcement.
By respectful, you mean people who will kiss our asses and believe anything that we say. Anything else would be disrespectful, right? So yeah, these people are welcome, but anybody who has real questions, that's disrespectful, and dare I say criminal. These people are trespassers, and the others are, helpful to us. Oh my goodness, dude. What am I doing here? Let's see.
We just don't want to be a part of the circus.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's
good.
somehow this has gotten away from our son.
Yeah.
And it's turned into this big old circus pointing fingers.
Strategically injecting Sebastian, doesn't even mention his name, right? Forgot about him already. Just you have peace now without him. That's how you feel. And, strategically injecting, law enforcement told us not to say it, and no, you're not making it about Sebastian. Remember when he said, it's about people, you're making it about people who, the people who did it, about who did it? Who did what? We are making this about Sebastian. And the path to finding out what happens to Sebastian runs through you and Katie. So if this is about Sebastian, if it really is, and your intention is not to be a good Christian, so to, in quotation marks, and show the world that you're not judging and you're suddenly the good guy because you give come on, man. If you're really making it about Sebastian, you will always focus on him and Katie Proudfoot, because every light you shine into the case leads back to their doorstep, and that is a fact.
And why? Yeah, so that was Mr. Steve Fisher. He's a private investigator, and he's licensed in 9 states.
There was, yeah. I saw him on the TV the other day, I don't watch TV, but it was on a YouTube. That was from news, right? Wasn't he there? And they're talking about Emmanuel Harrow. So Stephen Fisher's strategy works, man. He's now suddenly known as the savior of missing children. But you see, they're using him and others like him because these people know how to get attention. And people are tuning into whatever they say. So that's part of why I don't have a TV anymore, man. I don't care where he's like. I looked into the licensing with your online classes and all of that. As long as you have a book in front of you or something, some material from somebody, you think it was easy to cheat when you were a kid? My God, now it's easier than ever. You can get all types of licenses these days, man, without leaving your home. I don't know, maybe not in every state, but looking at his website, the only thing that I could see was legit was an EMS technician license or something like that, or somebody brought this to my attention back then. Either way, we don't care about the license in 9 states. This guy,
His credentials are probably some of the best out there.
Yeah, I've looked into Stephen Fisher. No, they're not.
I mean, he has worked with TBI in East Tennessee, working through.
Yeah, TBI, who still cannot figure out or still doesn't want to, who couldn't find your son.
Cases. He's worked all over the country.
Sure.
Wow.
I mean, so why, when
He shows up whenever he's like independently wealthy or something like that. Did he call himself wealthy? I think he did. And he just shows up whenever there's a case, and then he gets on TV. And when police find him, the missing child, and he takes credit for it. I know. I mean,
he said, look, I might be able to add something I don't know. And I've talked to him. We've had
exactly what? Damage control?
conversations offline, just like how we're doing now. And our conversations eventually will lead up to, I wound up meeting with him. And I said, look, I know you got some questions. And
Yeah. What exactly did you hire him for, bro?
he gave me his questions. I said, well, instead of me explaining, can I show you? He said, sure.
Yeah.
So me and him got in his car. We drove around, and I showed him. I said, look, from this angle here, standing here looking at this, looking at this is where you see this. This is where I can explain this. And keep in mind that as I explain this to you, that the foliage is out here. Back in February, everything, the trees were naked. Mm-hmm. There's no leaves, there's no nuts. So everything that I'm telling you, you're not going to understand and see exactly because there's no leaves, or there's leaves on the trees.
Yeah.
So you can't see directly where I'm pointing, or, we went to the reverse position of where I was saying and looked down, and I said, see the foliage? You can't see where we were standing. But once this is naked, you can see all the way across.
Where's Sebastian, dude? When are you gonna get to this? Why is it about you? Find Sebastian. Have Sebastian answer the questions. Have him tell us he ran away. And you're cool. That would be the ultimate goal, right? No, because he knows that's never going to happen.
The street onto the other side of the Long Haul Pike.
Sure.
Sure.
And he was like, I didn't think about that. And I said, yeah, and it's this, and this. We drove around, we saw the retention pond. I showed him which way the dog went.
Back to that, right? Yep.
And,
And what?
The dog itself, and my brother, he used to be the canine officer for our department. And, a dog is only as good as it's been trained, and a dog is only as good as the handler that knows.
I have no doubt that some of the handlers are dipshits. I have absolutely no doubt. However, that dog jumped right in there. So you are already given an excuse to the person you're interviewing. This is horrible interviewing style. Same like with Duchess. You're already giving him the answers. So, maybe I can use this to teach you guys what not to do.
The indicator.
Let him explain that to me in his own words.
And sometimes dog handlers, like everybody else, wants their 15 minutes of fame. And, I've heard so many stories about the dogs hitting or didn't hit. And that was one of the questions we had was about the dog.
Yep, sensitive issue, the retention pond.
And the dog,
what were you doing there, Chris?
Dog hit or did he hit and so forth like that. But again
what?
When you got a bunch of police officers, go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you, like the first, that first week, they had ran 13 to 18 different dogs. Our house, around the house, everything. And all of these dogs were from one group. We had dogs from Sumner County. We had highway patrol dogs. We had professional dog trackers, ones that train with the FBI, sent out their two best canines that they always use.
Yeah.
One of those dogs has, I think it's got like 15.
But you refused Canine Gator Girl access the moment that she told you that dogs, how good she is, and how her dog can actually detect cadaver through concrete. And all of a sudden, you gotten really, really worried because you knew you were talking to a professional. And I guess these were search dogs, not cadaver dogs that he's referring to, but tracking dogs. But you got scared, Chris. You got very scared. And what area were you scared of? Your car? Your property? How about your mama's property? How about anywhere around there, like where the glasses were found? I think you got terrified learning from somebody who is, from what I understand, very good at what she does. So you were scared of a really good trainer, a really good handler, and said, I'm counting my blessings in regards to what has been overlooked in the past. And I'm not going to push it any further. I'm not going to push my damn luck. Okay. By the way, do you know about Daniel Martel? I mean, they, according to Logan, Daniel returned after Malaya left, right? But didn't he say something about the tearful goodbye to Meadow? There are things we need to clarify here. So I'm not letting go of the Daniel Martel case. Just FYI. Okay, dude. Keep talking.
Bodies
Oh, okay.
Wow.
credited to their search.
Oh, that's great
Okay.
then. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, they brought out all these dogs and from all over the country. They came in. I mean, whatever they wanted, like I said, we didn't care. Like,
Yeah.
you could have it, didn't care. And they got the scents. Now, out of those number of dogs, at least three of separate dogs
Yes?
went on the same path. And that path was out of our house. If you go out the front door, it went to the left, went down the side of that fence, and it comes back up to the front yard. Then the dog jolts diagonally back left between our neighbor's house to their backyard, goes down to the street, down to the main road, Kellen, when you came in on.
Sure.
Goes all the way to the top of the hill, turns right, goes into the next subdivision over, and it is tracking, and this dog is just running. And it gets to the retention pond and jumps in the retention pond. That was Max.
Yeah.
Now, three of these dogs go in that exact same route. I only know of one that jumped in the pond, but three dogs went the same route.
Did me and Sheila on our way down there that day? Don't you need to go?
No.
Okay.
I've got.
By the way, this is storytelling. This is well, I gotten into this very detailed. Remember on a previous one? So I will try to get through this right now and then I will touch on it further. But if you want, you can. It is the same video where I talked about equally dissolved, the leakage on Chris Proudfoot's part. When I find it, I link it to the bottom of this video.
They just told me he's coming back around.
Oh, okay. Sheila, on her way down there, she got her phone and looked up sex offenders in the area. You know, you got a sex offender, registered sex offender within 8 minutes of your address.
There's five.
Are they five? It only showed us one, but one is enough to at least let a person know that, you know, anything's possible. And again, everybody.
If one, law enforcement lets you all five registered sex offenders.
Great. Okay.
Generally speaking, I would say yes. That's important. Except Sebastian did not walk out of that door by himself. period. So let's not get sidetracked by this, which, of course, had he walked out of the store in the middle of the night and suddenly he cannot be found anywhere, that is why they have to be registered, because you will go straight to them. It doesn't matter if it's a child or a teenager or an adult female walking out. If she walked her dog, didn't come back, that's whom you will look at. And that's part of it. You commit the crime, that type of crime, you will forever become a suspect until you are cleared. When some cases, lead them to consider the possibility that such crime could have been committed in that area where you reside.
Their records know exactly their exact whereabouts.
That's great.
Everything.
Okay. See, that's things like people. That's what I'm saying. As far as me as an investigator and Sheila both, as far as that, but that's things that people. We mentioned that on the way down.
What was your rank, dude? You were an investigator? That would be sad. Were you a regular? What was your position? What did you actually do? In 40 years, you can only commit to having solved a few? Well, let's hear more from you.
We didn't mention sex offender. We just said there.
Unless, of course, your brother, he's a canine handler, so you have other people who help you get in there. And yeah, and where was it? Out in the boonies? Anyways, let's keep going.
I think we said
so.
What I'm trying to, the point I'm trying to make with you guys, so some of you, whenever, an ex-police officer, I don't care if it's an ex-police officer. I don't listen to when somebody has an ex-police officer on a show. I want to know that you really were one of the best. Then I will listen to you. If you're just an ex-police officer who now has a YouTube channel and that's not good enough for me to choose you to listen to, because there are some excellent ex-police officers that don't have a YouTube channel. When you have access to them, then you can listen to their opinions, but based not on their previous position necessarily, but based on the fact that they were really good at their job. There are some things you can train, there are other things you cannot train. And I can guarantee you, this dude, there was a lot you couldn't train him at. Right? Right.
Because we don't want to say sex on the YouTube.
Yeah, RSOs.
Yeah.
Or SROs.
You're saying it, not me.
Sorry.
Yeah, and so that's interesting.
But thank you. Yeah, thank you for not saying it, I guess.
We just don't think that the finger point in time is now, and definitely with nothing to go on than what people's got. And
finger pointing is not the right terminology, in my opinion, because finger pointing indicates judgment. We are not exercising judgment. We have plenty to work with that leads us automatically to the direction of Chris and Katie Proudfoot without us having to point any fingers. We are following where the evidence leads us. Okay? So he is, on Chris Proudfoot's behalf, it's a form of gaslighting and a form of avoidance, dismissive towards people who look at the suspect, in my opinion, as a suspect.
Sheila and I were just, again,
Sheila was not a cop, man. I don't care what Sheila has to say.
We're YouTubers. Of course, we this is our hobby. We enjoy it. Parents don't want to hear that, or step parents, but...
Oh, no. I will save you the kid club. much because Katie and I have had these conversations with law enforcement.
Okay.
And it's simple. There's the answers. When all this is said and done, there's only two answers that are
When Chris Proudfoot says to you it's simple, he's telling you to think within his box. Don't think outside of the box that he wants you to stay in. And he's alleging that if you don't agree, you cannot even follow simple instructions. Same way, avoidance, dare I say gaslighting, a term that's very overused, but when it applies, I apply it.
going to come out of this.
Yeah.
Sebastian is going to come home safe and sound, but he's going to have some, he's not going to feel. He's going to need a lot of mental psychologists that sort of look for. That's what he's going to need. Or two, Sebastian will be fine.
Look how much time he takes now to say these things, to present this fabrication to you. Go on a step above, likely inspired by a script from Katie Proudfoot. Sociopathic Katie, in my opinion, not only told Chris, tell them he must have walked outside the door, turn it into a question. The question, the $1 million question, is why did he walk out? Because you're demanding that your audience accepts him walking out of the door as a fact, which didn't happen. A sociopath is much more capable when it comes to beating a polygraph and making statements that appear reliable with the regular rules of statement analysis. The moment you head towards advanced analysis, which a lot of analysts do not know how to access or how to move into this area and how to recognize it, the rules will change, because a fabricator of realities that Katie Proudfoot is and had learned to be from a very early age, in my opinion, create a reality around her that wasn't, to make it through her childhood, her very traumatic childhood. If you want to keep it like simple language based, she snapped. There is something that snapped. And of course, now I'm running, I say it like I see it. So now he's making the fabrication of he must have been abducted and he's gonna need a lot of therapy to get over whatever abuse he's. Right.
I'm dead. In the woods.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why in the woods, Chris? Why in the woods? Why? What about the properties of some of your relatives? Have they been searched properly?
And I believe it's the latter.
Sure, go in the woods, go in the woods, go in the woods, right? Look wherever you're not going to find him. To go along with the story, he must have walked away barefoot. Same problem like with Jack and Lily. Sebastian didn't have the type of clothing he would have had he walked out of the store. He would have not gotten far barefoot. He hated being barefoot outside. He's pool bound. He doesn't swim in the lakes. He's everything you told us already in so many ways, how impossible it would be for him to wander through the woods. So, like Janie would say,
I honestly believe within 2 miles circumference around our Sheila thinks around the school.
it's been, and that hasn't been searched. So why don't you go searching within 2 miles only? Get walking, dude. If you're really that dedicated. Oh no, that's too uncomfortable. It's better to share your Christian walk on YouTube and talk a little bit. How about you let me guess. Chris Proudfoot would not like that, to bring new attention to Sebastian. Right? Remember how searchers have been threatened, allegedly? There we go.
He thinks she was wanting to ask Katie how, if he had a favorite teacher, was he comfortable going to school, all these questions about school. And Sheila feels that he was headed toward the school for some reason.
You know what? I can understand this line of thinking if you haven't paid attention to the case, watched any of my videos, if you know, didn't know that there's no way he would have walked out of the store, that he didn't walk out of the door. So her way of thinking maybe, if he walked out, maybe he wanted to run away from the chaos at home and ran towards the school knowing that the teachers would be there in the morning and help him. I actually understand the way of thinking if you absolutely have no clue whatsoever about the case, but you think you do, right? And you're not the type of person to actually look at the real details. Yeah, I can understand how you're getting there, but Sheila, why is Sheila the cop now? Why are you... Oh my goodness, dude. All right.
And
let's hear Sheila's theories. That's why we're here, right? So the 2 mile thing, okay. Then find him if you really believe that.
So here's what I can tell you about that.
All right. And yes, school was his safe place. Some kids get bullied at school. Their safe place is home. He got bullied at home. His safe place was the school and the teachers. And we saw the pictures with him and the teachers. And the teachers also called CPS because of him. So that's a sensitive area right now. And that's what I'm talking about. This is why Chris was preemptive, because now you're getting into the area of child abuse. Something Sebastian, she thinks, could have run away from.
I started the school. So between the high school, elementary, and the middle school, there's 400 cameras.
Yeah.
wow.
But Sheila doesn't think about this kind of stuff. Sheila has intuition, right? Oh my goodness, dude.
See, I knew there was cameras.
Okay.
See, I knew. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Some people, when your mind gets stuck in your own theory and there's no evidence for it, and you get defensive about it usually, like that woman who claimed to have seen Sebastian, I'm not going to go back into this. But when they are proven wrong, then they say, I knew that. Oh, God. You see people like that. When I was a kid, you didn't really see people like that on TV, too much, unless it was Star Search or some shit like that. And, the early version of American Idol, I guess, where people were so full of themselves. But, okay, Sheila, you knew. Let me hear more from you.
I mean, that includes inside, outside. There's 400 cameras.
So, of course, now she's forced to shut up because Chris Proudfoot obviously knows about these types of things. And these are things the police told him. And I do believe police actually told him quite a few things, which is part of why I have a problem with them.
They have pulled the footage from all of those cameras.
Okay.
And nothing was...
Looking in all the wrong direction, wasting their time. That's exactly what Chris Proudfoot enjoys. Wear them down.
Seen on the cameras.
Wow.
They have scoured the football field.
Yeah.
Back behind the football field.
Next question, Sheila.
There was a field. And of course, I'm native to that area.
Sure.
So I actually went to Beach Elementary when I was a little kid.
Oh,
Wow.
cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, there's not very much in that area that somebody's like, well, I'm over here. I'm like, I can tell you're over next to so-and-so's house.
Yeah.
Or if you go up this road right here and you go dogleg back to the left, it snakes around and blah, 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 blah. And people are like, how do you know this? Because I'm from here.
You probably played in a lot of those hills.
The school has been very, very heavily searched.
Okay.
Steve and there's a couple other folks that have thermal drones and drones and stuff like that outside of law enforcement, not with law enforcement, that we've kind of been, when we can, we get together and we're like, all right, we're going to look at this area, we're going to go search here. And we're kind of doing some, what do you call it, like not coordinated, but
Grid search?
sectioning off. Yeah, there you go, grid searching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we was wondering, if a person, that's what they didn't do over there. And if you'll just get in the line, and that way when you go through an area, you know for a fact that without a doubt there's nothing there. And then you can mark that off. If a person knew for a fact for those 2 miles around your all's place, I would feel so much more comfortable and say, okay, it's something else. He's in a vehicle. There's somebody, something's more to it. But for him just to be gone and no vehicle going down the road, nothing like that. It's
So next time somebody says, you need to listen to my life for 2 hours, oops, because I have an ex-cop on there, well, ask yourself, is that cop worth listening to? There are some that are really worth listening to. But being an ex-cop doesn't qualify you to speak. Listen to him guessing around. Listen to this shit.
Yeah, Sebastian, just.
I'm afraid we're going to mess him up.
Yeah, I don't want to.
No, you're fine.
Okay, don't let us mess you up there. I know you're busy. Maybe later on, if you and Katie get a chance, you sit down and talk. Like I said, if you decide to talk to us or something, we'd love to do.
The beautiful thing about this is that once the interview's done, I will not have to listen to them and their thoughts. Look at that. At 50, for an hour, they talk about that interview. Well, maybe I will cut in for a couple of minutes to see how they're talking and who they are. But come on, dudes. Come on, people. Come on, folks.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm about like you. We're straightforward. We'd love to do it.
I'm not going to lie to you. Why are you saying that? Have you been lying before? Do you think you have been deceptive? Are you about to lie? These are the two possibilities, really. When somebody says, I'm not going to lie to you, to tell you the truth, honestly speaking, it indicates either you are about to lie, or you just lied, or you have said something that's untrue or deceptive before to your audience. Meaning, you have no reason to believe me or trust me from my own perspective because I lied to you before, whether you caught it or not. But this time, I'm really telling the truth. Do you ever say to tell you the truth? I did before. I'm remembering when I said it. I also remember people who said it all the time. I examine old conversations, email or personal, as far as I remember, and realize every day more and more just how accurate statement analysis truly is. What a great tool for efficiency to filter out what people are telling us, what we should pay attention to, what we shouldn't pay attention to also.
A video.
It's we all try to.
Yeah, you're doing the Lord's work, but you really want him on video because you know it's going to get you some ratings, and you're softening him up. And Sunny did that with Daniel Martel. When she said, tell me your truth. Well, there's no such thing as your truth, but of course, that was a strategy behind it. There was a strategy behind it to get the guy to speak. And the same strategy, all of them apply the same way. When they have a guy who they are not 100% sure is innocent, But they give him so much benefit of the doubt, they tell themselves, yeah, maybe, maybe let's just have him on. So, as I said before, some of that language was deceptive as well from this guy, right? So don't ever let people tell you, oh, I'm doing God's work and I'm a Christian, this and that. Oh, okay, I guess he's not gonna lie. Don't ever do that. Don't ever. Especially when it's habitual and certain patterns reemerge from the lying times that suddenly become very useful all of a sudden when they think, maybe, and it's their channel, right? Hatfield McCoy Museum Adventures is the name of this channel. Hatfield McCoy Museum Adventures. So I guess when he says Fred McCoy, is that him? Is he talking about himself? I thought your name is Hatfield, but I don't care enough about you. But yep, we got you, dude. We got you. Intention detection. He just revealed his intention, his main intention. So don't let it fool you. Yes, he talked about judging, so he can excuse what he's doing as a Christian thing and say, well, I'm doing this because I don't judge. I'm a good Christian, right? But his intention is to have Chris Foot back on there because that's how he's going to grow his YouTube channel. Intention will always let them reveal it. And we are getting to it, especially as time goes by. They will leak their own intention, plaids.
We all try to do what we can, and we try to answer all the questions.
And fast talking Chris all of a sudden gets very slow because he has to be careful in terms of how he words things. I don't think he's watching my channel, but I know Katie Proudfoot does. Not anymore, maybe. Maybe she's like, oh, good, he's after Daniel Martell now. He's gonna leave us alone. But I'm pretty sure that the highlights, she adjusted the way she spoke to what I said in the interviews at the 1 year mark of Sebastian going missing. And she hammered down into Chris the highlights. The highlights. He got a few things wrong though, but let's hear it, man.
Everybody wants to come up with some.
So, for example, when he talked about Sebastian is taking his medication. How you know he's taking it now? That's because he doesn't understand exactly what Katie instructs him with. She told him start talking about him in the present, not the past. But it would be logical to talk about Sebastian taking medication in the past because he wouldn't know what he's doing now. What is he out in the woods, but he remembers to get a refill on his script, and he's going to the doctor to get the prescription and say, "Hey, it's me, Sebastian. Please don't tell anybody that I'm still alive or that I'm hiding from them." And what the hell, man? He doesn't really understand so when people overdo something or do something at the wrong spot, you can also detect scripting. Whenever something makes no sense, mark it. If you see anything written down where something makes no sense, underline it. If it's a video, write down the timestamp. So when you watch something and maybe want to bring it to my attention or somebody else's, write down the exact timestamps so you can revisit only those. So the second time you don't have to suffer through all the blah, blah, blah. You can get to it immediately, and that's what we need to do. We don't want them to have too much of an audience for the things that they want to use to, sidetrack and confuse people. But whenever there's leakage, mark it. I want to make sure I get this reply perfectly.
And everybody wants to come up with some.
So he swallowed bullshit, yeah.
Some crazy stuff when it comes to what could have.
Again, don't tell us it's crazy. That's gaslighting. That's avoidance. Tell us it's not true. Same with Chris, same with Daniel Martell. the crazy online accusations. Online, huh? It's online. It's not the real world. Well, it happens to be. When it's accurate, it happens to be the same. But don't tell me the accusations are crazy. Tell me they are wrong. And the reliable denials are missing from both Daniel Martell and Chris Proudfoot.
Happened. What may have happened.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, Sheila,
He's word salading it to avoid talking about the real. Well, the questions are real shitty here. I mean, there is nothing. There's nothing of importance. So these people, they need a so-called celebrity like the Foot in order, or Chris Proudfoot, should I say, respectfully, in order to, get people to watch them. Otherwise, the party's over, dude.
you ask them.
Sir,
I'll listen.
what do you all think happened to little Sebastian?
Okay, Sheila wants to talk. At least there's a decent question. Wait, let me go back how he worded it. That's interesting for me. Things that are not interesting to most people are interesting to me. While I skip most of the stuff that most people pay attention to, of course. I want to know the words.
You know.
Oh, Sheila, you ask them.
Sir,
Isn't it sad when this ex-police officer doesn't have his own question and he gets to the point where you ask him? Because ask him. Okay, go for it. Because she thinks maybe, coming from an ex-cop, it sounds bad. Okay, let's hear it.
Yes, ma'am.
what do you all think happened to little Sebastian?
Good question. Finally.
Do you have...
I'm down to.
Look how long he waits. You know what? If nothing happened in the house, he had no knowledge, he would say Sebastian walked out and Sebastian was abducted, because otherwise we wouldn't have found him. Right? Right? So much has been searched. He cannot linguistically commit to that because he knows what he is about to tell you is complete nonsense.
Literally, I'm only down to 2 scenarios here.
2 scenarios. Scenario. Like a play. Like a dramatical play. A script is coming from Katie. He's trying to remember it.
Okay.
And
they
you see, the speech pattern alters when patterns change, be it facial expressions, be it linguistically, be it how the tone of voice, be it anything. Take notice. Listen how stuck he is now with this particular questions. Man, I don't think he can say, well, police told me not to say it. Oh my God. Okay, Chris. She's asking you about your thoughts. These thoughts should pop out immediately, because you would have been thinking about that if you didn't know. You would have been wondering about it. Let's hear it.
Well, I feel very.
What you feel? No, what you think. He's avoiding to tell you thoughts. Probably. Already he's telling you, probably.
Probably the most reasonable in my head that makes sense.
The most reasonable in my head that means the one fabrication from me and Katie that makes sense, meaning it needs to make sense to you now. He's thinking about the one thing that you are most likely to believe. Out of all the nonsense that I and Katie could come up with, I'm going to tell you now the one thing that I think you are most likely to believe. Script.
So the first one is very simple.
So the first one is he says it's very simple. You need to stay in my box, and if you don't agree with it, then you are not able to follow simple instructions, right? You cannot even think simple thoughts. So the first one is very simple. He look how much time it takes. So the first one, okay, let's hear it.
Okay.
Sebastian got up, walked out of the house,
Got up, walked out of the house.
walked out in the woods. He's out there somewhere, and we can't find him.
Okay.
That's the simple one.
That's
Right.
sometimes
He's not telling you what he thinks or what he believes. He says what he fears.
simple is the way it is, but go ahead.
Shut up.
Now the second one,
Okay.
Sebastian walked out of the house.
Both require you to believe he walked out of the house. Okay. First thing he says.
Either it was planned or he was lured out of the house or something triggered him to leave out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
But not because there were problems in the house. Got it.
And walked out of the house.
Somebody else from the outside lured him. It's somebody else's fault. Don't look at us.
I personally feel he got to the long hole pipe.
Okay. I personally feel. I don't expect you. I know this is very personal to me. And it's almost like saying my truth. Don't challenge it. This is what I personally feel. So I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to defend it. I'm going to say it one time and one time only.
And he got picked up in a car and they headed westbound along the whole pike.
Wow.
And westbound goes to I-65. Now, there's a license plate reader along the whole pike that goes, if you're traveling eastward, so if you're coming from Goodlettsville going toward Gallatin down Long Hollow Pike, there's a license plate reader right there. And 76 cars from the hours of midnight to 6 a.m. were registered on that LPR.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
So all of those cars have been accounted for.
Okay.
Now, what has not been accounted for is if you were traveling westbound, so if you were going from Gallatin to Goodlettsville.
Mm-hmm.
Why about Gallatin? That's where your dad lives. Terry Bauer sucks. And remember, he tried to tell us what? Northwest? So some of you said towards Clarksville, where his father lives, but that's why he wanted us to think about searching westbound. Because that is the theory. Listen to this.
The one camera.
Only one camera.
It could have picked anything up was not working, hadn't been working.
So he must have only been taken in the one direction where he found out, and that's what I have a problem with, that the police gave him too much information. Too much information. He has a way of getting them to talk to him. They don't have a way to get him to talk, but he has a way to talk with them. That's why he inserts himself and wants to know everything. Remember when he talked to the PI and he said, I want to know what Seth knows so I can fill in the blanks? Well, he wants to be able to have an excuse for everything that makes no sense and have to focus. You see, this is why Chris Proudfoot told us to look. He has a feeling, he thinks he must have been taken north because he found out from the police there are cameras, license plate readers, but in that specific direction, they have only one camera that wasn't working. Oh, okay. I got it now. Now I have something to proudly present to the public. I don't remember the exact words, but it was something like, yeah, the police thinks, or something like that. Remember that? Now we know why. Because as time goes by, he will fill us in more and more.
3 years. And that's at Long Haul Pike and New Shackle, right there at the corner of by the school.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, wait a minute. Guess what, people? I'm not going to spend time looking at it right now, looking for it right now, how far away it is. And I can see it on. Well, let me look at Google Maps here. Long Hole Pike. Is that the correct spelling? Long Hole Pike. Or should I keep going? I think I should keep going, man. Long Hole Pike. Forget it.
New Shackle, right there at the corner of by the school.
Wow.
New Shackle, Hendersonville, right? New Shackle. New Shackle Island Road. Is that it? What was their address again, man? It's been a while since I did this. I should have it saved somewhere, right? Hey, jeez, man. Stafford Court. Got it. Oh, I got it here. Okay, Shackle Island. Oh, Long Hollow. Geez, one moment, guys. So I think this is the spot he would be talking about. Here's Stafford Court. 1.1 miles. Okay, this is Long Hollow Pike. Hollow. And this is New Shackle Island Road. Right here. Can you see it? Do I have to zoom in? Yeah? Okay. And then here's Long Hollow Pike. Okay, what did he say about that spot? So it was 24 minutes to walk. Okay, let's hear more, Chris. But of course, all of this because you found out there's a camera that's not working. Wanna hear it again? Westbound, okay. Do you have? Oh God. Okay, why not?
I'm down to literally. I'm only down to
Literally.
2 scenarios here,
Okay.
and they. What I feel very
Right. Go on.
probably
Chris.
the most
Okay, Chris.
reasonable in my head that makes sense.
Really?
So the first one is very simple.
Okay.
Sebastian.
You see, it tells us he doesn't believe it at all. He knows that didn't happen. But that's beside the point, right? Sebastian.
Got up, walked out of the house, walked out in the woods. He's out there somewhere, and we can't find him.
Okay.
That's the simple one.
That's
Right.
sometimes simple is the way it is.
Shut
Go
up.
ahead.
Now the second one, Sebastian
Walked out of the
walked
house.
out of the house. Either it was planned or it was lured out of the house, or something triggered him to leave out of the house.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Something.
and walked out of the house. I personally feel he got to Long Hole Pike.
He walked 1.1 mile directly to the one spot from where a camera wouldn't have caught the license plate of the car that must have abducted him. Gotcha. Into the certain direction where. Gotcha.
And
so blame the camera. You see, he's not very smart. So he's trying actually hard to remember the details, and he's also trying hard to how to work this into a fabricated answer to an unexpected question. So I don't think that he asked to see the questions beforehand. He probably asked, "What are you going to ask me?" And I believe that his wife, the guy's wife, he's stuck. He don't have no more questions. The only thing he can say is, "I want to have you on video maybe, because I get more viewers that way." Did Chris ever give video Wait a minute. On all these lives, he probably didn't want people to see him drinking. You can hear though how the glass gets on the table, right? Several times. I don't remember him speaking to a YouTuber on camera. I don't remember that. Interesting.
he got picked up in a car, and they headed westbound on Long Hole Pike.
Wow.
Wow.
And westbound goes to I-65. Now, there's a license plate reader on Long Hole Pike.
Interesting though that he walked all the way there and didn't get picked up anywhere before that, right? He must have gone to that part somewhere.
It goes, if you're traveling eastward, so if you're coming from Goodlettsville going toward Gallatin down Long Hole Pike, there's a license plate reader right there. And 76 cars from the hours of midnight to 6 a.m. were registered on that LPR.
Only 76? Well, anyways.
Okay. Wow.
Wow.
So all of those cars have been accounted for.
Okay.
Now, what has not been accounted for is if you were traveling westbound, so if you were going from Gallatin to Goodlettsville, the one camera that could have picked anything up was not working. Hadn't been working for 3 years, and that's at
and now
Long Hole Pike and New Shackle, right there at the corner by the school.
Now we know why west or northwest. Must have been that one spot where he knows the camera wasn't working. Okay, got it.
Wow.
Wow.
It hasn't worked for 3 years. Now, whether or not they're going to work it out, I don't know. But it hadn't worked for 3 years. So anybody going, like I said, westbound.
Just like Janie. So means whatever nonsense I just told you, I want you to accept it and move on very quickly.
Now, Long Hole Pike could have picked up Sebastian, picked him in a car.
Wait. Sorry.
But
Sorry, guys.
It hasn't worked for 3 years. Now, whether or not they're going to work it out, I don't know. But it hadn't worked for 3 years.
Okay.
So anybody going, like I said, westbound down Long Hole Pike could have picked up Sebastian, picked him in a car, hauled butt down to I-65, and you'd have never known.
Here's the highest.
And you'd have never known is the key. He's looking at what you wouldn't have known and wouldn't be able to prove him wrong with. That's what he's going to stick with. That's what makes sense, he said. That's in his head what makes sense. That is the one scenario he's comfortable giving you. And that is the whole key. You cannot prove him wrong because the camera isn't working. But, Of course, he disappeared into the woods, past all these cameras there, and yours wasn't working either. He went into the woods, and there are no cameras in the woods. So he's making sure to give you something, you know. They've been thinking about this. Katie had. Chris is a communicator. He's able to get information. They're telling him a lot of things they shouldn't tell him at all. But he knows how to get the police to talk to him.
Yeah.
This morning we were talking. We've been on it all day again, but and we talked of our first one. Of course, he wandered off. The second one is we talked about.
You know what, guys? Should I keep going?
Sex offender or somebody, just a crime of opportunity.
Yeah, see, I mean, that's...
Okay, guys, so that was the keyword that lets me know that I should stop right now. And I'm going to continue very soon. Very soon. So what have we learned? Well, we have learned why he tried to tell us that you should look west or northwest. There's a reason for that. It isn't because he thinks Sebastian is there or went near Clarksville with his father or whatever. No. The reason is that he knows you cannot prove him wrong there.
That's all I have to go on. I mean,
Yeah.
all of Sebastian's shoes are accounted for.
Yeah, we know that because he didn't walk out. Seth pointed it out to you. Right? Jack and Lily's coats are at the house. They cannot tell you what they wore.
So this is what's going to kind of throw you off a little bit.
Okay.
Sebastian, all of his shoes are at the house.
Right.
Preemptive.
That's all I have to go on. I mean,
Yeah.
all of Sebastian's shoes are accounted for. So this is what's going to kind of throw you off a little bit. Sebastian, all of his shoes are at the house.
Right.
All of my shoes are accounted for. All of Katie's shoes are accounted for.
Yeah, so it's nothing. Okay, guys, I will get more into this later. I see you next time. Thank you for watching. I'll be back.